The thing that you should never say to a journalist who you want to establish a relationship with about your brand is this: I created my brand because I couldn't find anything out there in the market like it, so I made it myself. Now, this may seem harsh, me saying this, and it may be authentically true to your brand. Maybe you couldn't find something that suited your skin or whatever, so you made it yourself, and then your friends decided to ask you to create batches for them, and then suddenly you thought, oh, maybe I should sell it, whatever, right? Even if that's true, do reiterate that story in those terms and those words to a journalist, because they have heard it 1,000 times before in just this last week. I promise you that story is so overtold, whether whoever it is that's saying it, whether it's true or not, that it has become meaningless, and journalists are desensitized to it because they've heard it too many times. And honestly, really, unless your brand is truly a first of its kind, that it has science in it that no other brand in the world have, whatever it may be, unless it is true, cutting edge, never seen before newness, do not go there. Just don't. I promise you, you are on a hiding to nothing. So going forward, we're going to avoid that sort of storytelling. So let's try and find another angle and another way to pitch your brand that's authentic to you and that is going to connect with the journalists that you're trying to target. So say, for instance, just for argument's sake, that I've got a natural clean skincare line and I hand blended it in my kitchen and all of that kind of stuff. What's another way that I can think of connecting with the journalist, hooking them into my story in a way that's compelling and relevant and topical? I could go in with a value message instead. So I could say something like, I created a skincare line that's worth more than it costs. I take a hit on my margins because I believe that my customers shouldn't have to pay huge prices for great skincare. So obviously it's not going to be authentic and true to every brand, but if it is authentic and true to you, that value message is so important and so vital. And so now when people are looking to spend less, to save money, live in very uncertain economic terms. So another angle that you could go in with is a more socially conscious angle, an angle where perhaps the big brands just can't compete because they won't put that pressure on their margins. Let's think. So something like, and it's a bit counterintuitive actually, and it's a bit punchy, again, something that the big brands won't do because they can't and they won't be given permission to do that. But you, as a smaller, agile brand and as the brand owner, can take risks and try things and see what works. So something that like, the world doesn't need another skincare brand, but it does need one with a conscience, whose number one priority isn't just its profits. I invest X percentage of my sales into XX charity, trust, let's say beauty banks because it's mine and it's easy, a charity who help to support people living in the UK in hygiene poverty. Every time you buy one of my products, XX goes to beauty banks to make the world a more beautiful place. That message is incredibly powerful, and it's storytelling that's authentic and compelling in a way that doesn't go back to I mixed it in my kitchen by myself, that kind of thing. Finally, my third tip for you is to really look at the journalist content that they're creating and see if you can respond to it with your brand and your message. Look for alignment. Basically, if your product, say my skincare product, is really good for pigmentation and you've noticed that a journalist is suffering from that particular problem, be targeted. DM them and say, I see that you're suffering with pigmentation as an issue. I've created this product because I have hyperpigmentation. I found it to be incredibly effective. I'd love for you to try it. Again, you're not talking about you mixed it in blah blah. You're talking about solving a problem, and more specifically, solving a problem that they are having. You're telling them that you're listening, you're understanding their content and what their needs are, and you are responding to it in a personalised way. I promise it will do you a great service to take that approach. So That's enough of the PR masterclass of today, what not to say to a journalist when you're trying to communicate your brand message. I hope you have found it a bit helpful.